If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a member today. Members get early access to videos, access to all the stream VODs, and exclusive access to emotes as well. So if you'd like to support the channel, become a member today. Now, people know that I'm friendly with Vaush on this channel. I like Vaush. I generally respected Vaush. I still do respect Vaush, or at least I mean, you know, the controversy aside, generally what he does on YouTube as far as his politics, of course, I generally respect him and his ability to debate, stuff like this. I'm cool with Vaush. Now, this stuff that happened recently, for those of you who don't know, Vaush accidentally leaked his goon folder, people are calling it, with a bunch of corn in there. And some of it was really weird horse and lolly related stuff. Now, lolly, if you don't know, is a genre of anime that usually depicts underage people or people made to look like children. So it's pretty creepy. And it's about as close as you can get to CP without it just being straight up CP. So Vaush having that in his folder is definitely upsetting and disheartening. Now, he responded to that. However, I recently was looking over some clips and I feel like he might be contradicting himself a little bit here. But let's start with reviewing this brief part of his response here, where he does admit that it is, in fact, lolly.
Anyway, of the images that showed, 2 of them were from the same artist. 2 of them, those from that artist turned out to be a lolicon. One of the 2 images, now, unfortunately, talking about this is always like a double-edged sword because I can't show to defend myself, nor would I encourage you to go look it up because this is a lolicon artist, so I don't like want to direct you to that, you know? But one of the 2 images from this lolicon artist, okay, to be clear, one of them flatly did not look like lolicon. I'm sorry, you can say it's defensive. I think that's bullshit. I literally went back and looked. The chick is like 6 heads tall. She literally, like, it's like...
Okay, that was one of his responses, though, or defenses, I guess, is he couldn't really tell. Now, generally, I would have kind of been like, okay, whatever, like, it's still lolly, like, you know, maybe that's not something you want to have on your computer. Obviously, this doesn't mean everything Vaush says is wrong. This doesn't mean everybody go unsubscribe and hate Vaush. But this is inexcusable. Like, he acknowledges it. He admits it right here. Listen.
You know? The other one is like a threesome with 2 chicks and a guy, and... in retrospect, looking at it, knowing now that that artist is a lolicon, yeah, I can see it. When I looked at it, I think the vibe that I got was like short stack, thick kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like the way like goblins get drawn in porn. You'll have to entertain me for a moment on this presumed shared knowledge of how goblins get drawn.
Oh man, with how vicious Vaush has been in attacking lolly and stuff like this in the past as well, it just is disappointing. So, of course, Vaush is accusing H3H3 of being bad faith, along with a lot of other people as well. And that's because there are a lot of people that are bad faith to Vaush in general. There are a lot of people that take statements he's made out of context, and there are people that are generally uncharitable to this guy, and I completely agree with that. However, I also think that some of the criticism now might be warranted. And so Vaush is currently, he said, working on a extended response video of some sort, I guess. But I figured today we would still look over some of the responses thus far. I also want to look at some of the H3H3 original video and then look at what Vaush has been saying generally and kind of compare. Vaush, of course, is also accusing H3 of lying a lot. So I want to know, were they lying? Okay, so this was the original video posted 5 days ago now, which really caused this controversy to come out fully.
So once again, let me set this up. Vaush fans, please know this. We are going into this with the most partial and best intentions to represent.
You say partial or impartial?
We are impartial. We are partial to the truth.
Okay, fair.
We're going to show the context of everything so that we can make the best informed decision.
Should I unsub from Vaush? I'm not here to tell you what to do. and I'm not here to be encouraging hatred towards Vaush or deflect hatred and criticism away from him. I am simply reviewing this and trying to come to a fair conclusion, one that is not based on misinterpretations or lies or bad faith or anything else. But I'm not going to lie. I mean, Vaush already admitted that he did have some Loli stuff on there, and that's disappointing. There's not really much of an ethical justification for having drawn CP in your pornography. That's yikes.
So let's start from the beginning. So
You should
Vaush,
start- yeah, go ahead.
Vaush recently, it was yesterday or the day before, he ended his stream in a panic after he accidentally exposed his corn folder.
Maybe
Here's
do
the clip.
like a one-liner of who is Vaush because
You can see
Can we just get a little bit of a... What are these sound bits they keep using? We have horses neighing. We have...
this is
Sure, I mean, yeah.
we don't normally talk about him. So.
Yep. I'm looking.
Yes, sir.
what I'm
I
referring
guess we
to.
got the button.
Yeah,
Oh!
it's censored. It's
I
censored.
did it myself. Yeah.
And by the way, well, in the actual picture, is there even anything that is like mega vulgar?
I
Yes,
think so.
yes.
There's.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, there's enough there that it's
Cock.
the problem.
Talk. So here is a clip of the end of his stream. Here it is.
You can see this is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
Now,
The sound.
now is that how the stream ended?
I'm not 100% sure. When people were posting it on Twitter, that's how they labeled it. But
I think if I remember, I think it cut to like a holding card, some sort of static holding card for a moment, and then it ended shortly after that.
So one more time. So this
You
is
can see
how it
this is an
ended.
example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
That's a face of a man who knows. Finally, we've caught conservatives porn stash. It happened to Alex Jones, and
Alex
also
Jones,
happened
famously, yes.
to what's that other shitbag that was friends with Kanye? Fuentes. Right? They were both
Did his
had
porn thing
trans
get-
porn. Yeah, Fuentes was looking at trans
Oh, there was
porn.
like a trans thing with him too.
Yeah.
I don't remember,
But so I was saying yesterday, the left
loves Hitler.
they so on the right they secretly they want to they're chasers, I think they call them. They want to be with trans women.
Right.
On the left, they want horses. I want to see Hassan's private folder now. So here is an enhanced version of the thing. I obviously can't put this on screen, but I'll show it to you.
Oh.
So I'll describe it to you guys. So it's a folder. There's 5 folders in it. Old, taxes,
The taxes.
XXX gifts, XXX pics, and XXX vids.
Wow.
XXX Tassion.
So organized.
And now you get to the kind of unsorted downloaded images that are populating. there.
Miscellaneous.
And yet to be sorted.
Now the first thing I'm noticing is a King Garu from the new Legend of Zelda, and it appears to be, I can't be sure, but it appears to be King Garu porn. And Dan pointed out, King Garu is horse-like.
He has equine-like features.
Yeah.
Go off, King. I don't know if he's supposed to be like a horseman, but when we were trying to figure out if that's what it was, and I pulled up a picture, I was struck by how horse-like his face is. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, you know what I mean? So, like, I don't know, just trying to I mean, he was powerful.
King
He-
Raru?
King Raru. He
Is
was
it Raru?
He had a lot of power, and he was charming.
King
But physically,
Raru.
he's not my type.
Is there anything bad faith about this video yet? I haven't really heard anything that's alive. They're doing the typical H3H3 like joking around stuff, but I have not heard them say anything that sounds like they're not lying. Where is their... I saw somebody in chat saying this is bad faith. Where is it bad faith so far? I'm not defending it necessarily. I'm just trying to be neutral so far because I want to see what's really gonna be said here.
And there's a photo I saw that was like, there's the one I saw on that you showed me, AB.
Yeah.
That Hila's got to see that.
When you go below
I'll send you
16,
it.
like 15 and stuff like that.
But here, it gets kind of hard to see because it's so small. But here, I mean, it just looks like hentai. Here's some big ass horse cocks. Here's a girl treating a horse cock. Here's a horse cock silhouette with a big horse cock. Here's more Lord Raru furry stuff. You see the horse here?
Ah,
And then this is a horse dick.
got it.
Yeah. And then this is this stuff is super graphic
Your
actually.
lying dog face Tony showed you.
It gets a little hazy here.
Yeah, I can't
Can you fill in the blanks? What am I looking at like on the bottom
I don't
row?
know.
The
Nothing about
bottom
this.
row.
Okay,
I
look
don't
at
know
this
nothing
one,
about
Hila.
nobody.
This is the cartoon character that's 16.
Let me double. I don't want to say for sure, but I believe so.
Do you see this?
Yeah.
This. What do you think of that?
16 is the
Disturbing.
age of
That's
consent.
vile.
I don't like it.
It looks like a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah.
So I mean,
weird.
I guess
And
we're
here's
just kind
another
of
one. This one was
trusting
on there,
their.
too, of the
I
same
can
character.
see how some people would say Hunter is taking Keem's side, Chrissy. Well, where am I taking Keem's side? You guys are assuming so much right now. I'm watching a fucking video. Jeez. They show some of these clips, which I know some of which are out of context, but some of them I don't think they are. They show one clip that I did want to talk about because is it this one?
Why is the possession of child pornography immoral? Because it hurts people to make child pornography, yeah? Because you have to hurt children to make it. That's why it's immoral. It's not magically immoral. It's immoral because of the harm that is caused by it. So, do we not possess other things that
You sound like
hurt
someone who's
people
trying to
in their
rationalize
production?
child
Like-
abuse. Like that is
Yeah.
an insane. That's actually
It's like, okay, this is wrong.
that is not better.
This is wrong, but there's also other stuff that are wrong.
This is rationalizing. People who do horrible shit, they rationalize it in their minds so they can live with it. This man says you eat chocolate and you dare
I
to care
think
about.
that okay, to be charitable to Vaush there, I'm pretty sure Vaush is just making a strictly intellectual argument there at the moment. I don't think he's trying to rationalize anything. However, given the new stuff, I can see how it kind of comes across much more yikesy.
The innumerable supply chains which hurt other people, the child slavery, what have you. The argument that I was making essentially is that people are inconsistent in their moral outrage at commodities which hurt people when they're produced.
Okay.
So people will laugh off cocoa butter or chocolate or or cobalt.
Okay,
or
so
other...
I thought about that argument right there. And that is an argument I've heard Vaush make before, and that's what's gotten him in controversy before, where he's talked about how, like, well, there's no, how is child porn, why is that unethical? But these production lines that currently facilitate human suffering also causes a harm. Now, of course, this is a really muddled argument, and I've given it some thought, and it's pretty clear why there's a problem here. So if you have a dangerous or harmful supply chain, maybe something requires or something is using child labor. Let's say a company's using child labor, okay, to produce iPhones. Now, child labor is bad and harmful, but the end result is a phone. If you remove the child labor from that equation, you still will have a phone. When you're talking about something like child porn, all you have is suffering, contributing to more suffering, contributing to more suffering. There is nothing that in a roundabout way there is any kind of a benefit or moral defense in any way, shape, or form, nor should there be, because it's fucked up and wrong. So this is something that is purely harmful that contributes to more harm. The production of child porn and its existence, the consumption of it, everything involving child porn necessitates the harm of children. The production of iPhones, well, it's fucked up that there's child labor involved there. However, child labor is not a necessity. That is not necessary to produce an iPhone. If I take all the child labor out of this equation, I can still have the end result of an iPhone. This cannot be said with child porn. I did want to kind of touch on that and explain my perspective as to why I think that this argument's bad. I see people in chat saying Vaush doesn't make this argument anymore. Good for him if he doesn't. Again, like I said, this isn't the shit on Vaush hate train here. Very much the opposite. I'm trying my best to be neutral and give an honest review of things here.
But then they're really, really quick to denounce child porn. Now, you'll never
As
be
you
able to...
should be.
That's not a problem.
As you should be.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
You should be really quick to denounce.
Even if there's some, can you fault them? Because like one is very easy to understand.
One is
why
like
stuff.
the wrong thing is right in front of you.
No
The other
analysis
one-
needed.
The other one you need to know and you need to do research and
Yeah.
you need to learn that it's behind the scenes. It's being made.
Sorry, Andrew, I was just worried you're planting your stake on Vaush's side. I've literally been over here getting attacked because people are saying I'm shitting on Vaush. I am not defending Vaush. I already said that the Loli stuff he had in there is bad. You can't defend that.
Wrongly.
It's not easy to piece all that together.
Mm-hmm.
So does it surprise you that people care about CP more than they care about cobalt farming? I mean, it shouldn't.
Too many people in chat are telling me that I'm defending Vaush or disregarding Vaush or betraying Vaush or like I'm not doing any of this. I'm reviewing the controversy. I've already said once, and I will say again, that Loli shit is inexcusable, and I myself am very disappointed. Not to mention what he said in the past about Loli and 4chan and how Nazis like Loli because it allows them to sort of fantasize about being a pedophile or something like this, or because they are pedophiles. All of this shit is just cast in a different light now, because it's like, you're saying this, but you had at least 2 images on your thing that you admitted were of Loli.
All right, go ahead, Vaush.
It is possible. Please, right now, uncuck your dumb shit libcuck SJW brains
Okay, I'm doing
and
that.
recognize this empirically correct fact that I am about to spit. It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship and for it to have positive outcomes on the child as well. That is possible.
No.
Yeah, you know what my physicist says is possible? I could fall through the ground because our atoms.
So see, if you see this part of the H3 video, then it looks like they just played that tiny little clip. And when I first saw this, the same thing I said was, I want to see the full clip of what Vaush said there, because if what he said was so bad, then you wouldn't only have to show 3 seconds of it. That's kind of what my thought process was. They do go on to continue to show the clip, though. And I don't know, has Vaush, chat, you can let me know, is Vaush further addressed this now?
Blood boiling.
What point are you trying to make? All right, go ahead, Vaush.
However, categorically,
No, don't. However, it's not.
discourage those relationships because, as a rule, it is
He's sweating, bro. He knows he fucked up. He knows, dude.
This is kind of like not a very fair. It is just like a lot of just cheap mockery. I would like to see them actually try and dig into the arguments a little bit, not just, he's sweating. Okay.
Tears flashing before his eyes. He said too much.
substantially more likely that enabling them would cause harm in society.
Raw.
That's the difference between
raw.
Wait, let me.
Why is he saying?
So he goes on to expand and basically say, yeah, that like even if there were positives, then this is etc. It's we recognize that it's more likely for there to be harms, etc. The problem with this argument, of course, yeah, Holly, you said it. There are not any positives. There never can be. He started off by saying this is an empirically true fact that there are positives or there can be positives. Where? Even if you had some weird evidence to be like, well, their mental health went up temporarily. 5 years from now, when they get older, they're going to realize they were taken advantage of, and their mental health's not going to remain that way. Like, I'm just trying to conceptualize how that could have any positive impact. So this clip, for example, playing it out of context, I don't think that Vaush is over here saying child porn is good or that he is actually even necessarily like justifying it. I think he's trying to talk about contradictions here. However, you can't base that on the assumption that there can be positives to this thing when there really aren't.
we discourage those relationships because, as a rule, it is substantially more likely that enabling them would cause harm in society.
Okay, so why?
No.
What is the point of like
No.
sussing this out exactly?
No.
You're saying in no cases is this possible.
I'm saying this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. It's upsetting.
Yeah,
really upsetting.
But there's just no point to
It's
have
really
this
upsetting.
conversation.
Why have this conversation? What is he saying?
Yeah.
That maybe there's one case where it didn't traumatize the kid? Show me that one case, first of all. But so what? So maybe there's one, so then we're all hypocrites because
Well, he's saying
what?
on the whole, it's more likely to negatively affect kids.
Right.
And therefore, as a whole, we view it as a bad thing. Even though sometimes, in some cases, it's a good thing.
No.
Yeah.
I say
Right,
no.
which is in some cases it's a good thing. No, where? That's the problem, right? Like, I agree with, obviously, like, if there is something that overwhelmingly has a negative outcome, then you shouldn't do that thing. A better example would be like drunk driving, right? So you can, if there's some people who manage to get from point A to point B while they're drunk and they don't run any traffic lights and they get there fine, okay. There might be one quote unquote positive or at least neutral outcome, but we also know that generally there's a much higher likelihood that you're going to get in an accident and make a mistake that could kill you, someone else, cause harm, etc. When it comes to sex with children, There is no potential for there to be a neutral or for there to be a positive. There isn't that thing there. Hunter, you sound like a rule utilitarian, and Vaush would agree with you. I know he would, but it's more than that. It's about where are there any positives or where can there be?
Okay, shut up. Why?
This isn't like a pertinent philosophical question that needs to be thought through. This is like disgusting perversion, dude. This is like a man. What I see is someone rationalizing the consumption of child pornography. Frankly,
I do not see that at all. So that is definitely an unfair interpretation. I'll give that to Vaush and his fans or whatever, because this is an unfair interpretation. That clip, Vaush was still ultimately concluding that no, these kind of relationships are bad. You shouldn't do that. No, absolutely not. Whatever. The problem again was that he was basing that argument on the assumption that there could be potential positives, which is really yikesy.
The funniest things there by far, to be clear, is that I think 2 of the images that showed were literally just non-pornographic, like canon images.
Okay, and the others?
There must be the Zelda photos.
Yeah, I must be talking about.
Wait, so is he saying Raru wasn't porn?
According to him, I don't know what other ones, because everything else was very graphic.
Okay.
Maybe he's going to do the argument where, oh, these characters are actually 1,000 years old. That's not weird.
Let's see. I don't know where he's. How is he going to defend this?
From Tears of the Kingdom, like just
okay,
standing
let's keep
there.
Raru.
So that was funny. That.
Dude, it was like 2 of like 20 images, bro. The fact that you're even taking it aside to explain that is just guilt.
Yeah, I also jerk off to that too, man.
Nothing wrong with it. He's right, certainly.
It wasn't even the porn of him. It was just him standing there.
Okay.
Which
He's still odd. Why are you downloading pictures of King Raru?
I mean, who knows? Maybe for a meme or something.
You go from horse porn to King Raru.
Well, again, let's remember that folder was the to be organized.
That's what I'm saying. He did.
So it just seemed like it was kind of a grab bag.
Well, if they're organized by date downloaded, which is a common way to organize,
right,
then these would be temporarily related.
Learning about this lolicon is anime porn, not necessarily CP. No. Hentai is anime porn. Lolicon is a specific genre of hentai, which is the depiction of children and minors and underage people.
Perhaps, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, and some of this H3 stuff is a little bit disingenuous, but like this is what I'm talking about when I mean that you should come at this from a more neutral standpoint. You can accept and acknowledge that some of H3H3, their podcast here, has been disingenuous, a little bit bad faith, lacking context, coming to conclusions that kind of weren't there. Sure. But the original problem, which was the contents of the leaked folder, is still a problem. And I feel like the reason a lot of this is being missed is so much of it is spent bringing attention to the bad faith and how this is how they always attack people and this. But you're not actually addressing what they're attacking you over. The centrist approach, this is not even the centrist approach. This is just the correct approach. Like, this is literally just the, like, you can look at all the sides and then come to a reasonable conclusion. Vaush messed up here. He shouldn't have done this. H3 probably could have handled this better. Vaush probably could have handled this better. But still, Vaush messed up. And Vaush still needs to address that. And that's why we're going to go over Vaush's video whenever he comes out with his response. I don't know where to go right now, like what to watch, because there's some stuff H3 still has, but I don't want to just be covering H3. Hunter, the second post H3 stream is basically just a game stream. Yeah, I don't think there's really much that he says that is not going to be said differently or better when he releases his response. So don't take my review of H3 as me being like against Vaush here, or like he just anti-Vaush for the sake of it. More just because I am kind of curious.
People are
this.
demanding.
So 23 hours ago, H3H3 drops another podcast highlight. Ethan shares bizarre DMs from Vaush.
I mean, I don't mind showing it. I just don't want it to be boring. I don't know. I mean,
that's why I was saying just show. People could pause and read it if you just show it. You don't have to like go through it all.
I don't think it's going to be that interesting. I just think the way he characterizes stuff is really fucking dumb. Also, he said, by the way, in one of the DMs, Ethan can share the DMs if he wants. So he gave me permission.
Nice.
He
well,
did.
In that case, let's just shoot him out.
So as you can see on Instagram, I'll try to blast through this. This is our first DM convo. Very first. Would you like to call in on Monday? I know the podcast guys had DM'd you, but I thought I'd message you directly. They sent me the DMs. I understand where you're coming from. It's pretty heated, although I genuinely don't know what or how my comments were bad faith. I'm being totally honest. I don't understand, and nobody will tell me what was bad faith about it. I just keep saying that. I personally be interested in that combo and do promise to keep.
Well, I was able to say what was, or what could at least be perceived as being bad faith. And that was some of the mischaracterization of some of Vaush's positions and the conclusions you were drawing based on some of his arguments he was making with some of the clips. But again, that is, in my mind, just kind of deflecting from the real issue. It's kind of the elephant in the room, and you're just arguing about something unrelated.
Keep a good faith and to give you space to talk. I mean, that seems perfectly genuine, right? Not, am I doing you cute? And
Being straightforward.
That's it. He says heated implies mutual aggression. Okay, it's like that's not what I meant, bro.
He's such a debate, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
He cannot stop debating. I want to debate. That's not the right word, brother. It's like, come on.
He says it's just a character assassination. It would be from your end of things, as if someone like Keemstar constructed a massive clip show out of every bad thing you had ever done, real or imagined, pulled exclusively from the people who you hate, the whole time pretending he'd unearthed this massive closeted pact full of skeletons, when in reality most of what he's waffling about is either imagined or long addressed. You want it to be settled, but you know it's not settled. Your task in this is to convince everybody that it is settled, that it is all bad faith. And so far, you've done a pretty good job of convincing.
Vaush was pretty clear here in this DM as to what his problem was with some of this.
People in your audience and people who are fans of yours of that. But I'm here to tell you, you can stop the bullshit because it is not settled by any means.
To say it's imagined or long addressed are two very different things. So one, the imagined, is he saying some of the stuff didn't happen?
Yes.
Because it's things he's saying with his own mouth. There's no like imagined.
He's saying anything about it. He's doing a spaghetti cannon, but his fans somehow are buying it.
Also, it has way more weight to it, what he's said in the past. Now that he showed his drawn child porn on his hard drive.
That's what everyone is missing.
Yeah, it's like it
we
has
saw the
more
lolly,
weight to it.
bro.
Idiot dumbass.
We saw
new evidence
the
emerged.
lolly.
We saw
we
the
saw
lolly.
the lolly.
That's why we started talking about it.
You and your lollipops can take a hike to Lollipop Guild.
So frustrating, dude. It's not just regurgitating old drama. It's like
New content.
We saw
It's
you have
You know what?
child
Can I give an
porn
analogy?
drawn. Yeah.
There's
It's just recontextualizing essentially, and I don't know actually. I would have to look that up. I don't think that's intrinsically bad faith, is it? Recontextualizing the clips that were sort of addressed or seemed like they were whatever kind of in the past, or maybe just something yikesy that you were said kind of were able to explain away. These are now being painted in a new light, so there's added context where now it's like, well, hold on. People used to say that was like him defending this shit or defending consuming it or whatever, and you're, no, not true. But then if that stuff, some of which is on your computer, then yeah, it adds new context to the conversation is really what it is. So just bringing up the old clips by themselves, I can see how that could very well be interpreted as being bad faith or just like addressing or bringing stuff up that's already been addressed. But I think that their goal is to recontextualize. And maybe the way that they're doing so is disingenuous and bad faith. Maybe you could say that. However, I still think that it does paint some of this stuff in a new light that at least, yeah, it makes it weirder for at minimum.
this hotshot detective. He's put away hundreds of cases. He's the best detective of all in LAPD history. Turns out, in one of the cases, they discover he tampered with evidence. Then all of a sudden, those old cases that were slam dunks where he put people away, and all of a sudden, they don't look quite the same. You have to re-look at it.
Yeah.
That's what's happening, Vaush.
Right.
We're re-looking at it, and we don't like what we see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I said I have no reason to assassinate your character. Again, he never explained why. Why would I do that? You call my audience pedophiles. You call me. You call people defending me pedophiles. It's ridiculous. Per ham content mill drama slop. this part pissed me off because I was like, bro, don't act above any of that shit. You routinely do the same thing. You cannot high road me on this shit. Like you.
Okay, hold on. What? 3 years ago, does Vaush want to legalize CP debate with a viewer? 9 minutes? Okay, we'll watch this first.
Oh, howdy. Hello.
There we go. My thing wasn't letting me unmute.
Beautiful. All right. You sound lovely. Okay, what's the issue? How you doing?
I want to be very clear. I'm not an Ian Miles Chung fan. I know that your chat kept calling me that.
Mm-hmm.
However the you say his name.
What's on your mind?
How are you able to make the arguments that you did?
Well, I think the main issue that people take is that the arguments that I made were largely lost in like a sea of bad faith interpretations, and people like clipped out a millionth of the total discussion and kind of ran with that. But what's specific? You mean like the vegan gains clip?
I mean, I have no idea. I don't really know you that well. It wasn't that long of a clip, so I can't really say who you were arguing against.
Gotcha.
If you think it's the vegan games one, it probably is.
Okay, gotcha.
I do know who that is.
Yeah. What was the argument I was making?
In general, you just said that it would be a more moral position to take or like consistent, I think is the word you used.
Yeah, more morally consistent. Yeah, so I can run this through with you, and we can see if you agree or disagree after we follow my logic. So my position is that I am anti-child porn. I don't think it's a good thing to have it. My frustration is I feel like there are other things that are bad for similar reasons that child porn is bad, but people don't really care about that. So let me run it through with you. Why is child porn bad? Not creating child porn, I mean, but like purchasing it.
So, like, why is it bad regardless of the way in which it's produced?
Sure. Well, we know, I mean, we don't even need to waste time, of course. Obviously, producing child porn requires harming a child. So that's off the bat, that's a pretty easy bad.
So purchasing it is partaking in that market, contributing to more of that suffering, more child abuse.
But when it comes to the actual like commodity, like you filmed it or something, so why is that bad? Like having that on your hard drive or something?
I would say that buying something which in any way facilitates the exploitation of minors.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, it's the issue is that even if you're not hurting the kid, it's possible to like have a bunch of CP and never hurt the kid. You're still like producing or you're consuming from an industry you're giving money to, and you're just broadly celebrating in a sense the harm of children. Yeah. So my argument with vegan gains was that I can use that exact same logic to argue against a lot of the commodity production that we participate in today.
Okay, so again, his argument here though would also apply to Loli. Just keep that in mind.
Like a lot of our consumer electronics, our chocolate, our cocoa butter, if you look into the way these commodities are produced, a lot of them involve stuff like slavery, really...
Again, we've been over this now, and the big distinction is that child porn, the production of it is harm. The facilitating of it is harm, and the end result is more harm. For something like chocolate, you can have something like slavery, which is bad, involved in the production of chocolate. You can take slavery out of that equation and still get chocolate. You cannot take the exploitation of children out of CP and ever have CP. So there is a distinction there.
Really bad labor practices. Some of them even involve child slavery, depending on what parts of the world this comes from. So my argument is it frustrates me when people will say that child porn is bad, and they're correct in saying that, but then they won't go ahead and say, oh, well, actually, we should be more critical of these types of commodity consumption as well. And that's why I said, not that it's moral to consume CP, but that it would be more morally consistent to do so. Is it an edgy, provocateur way of phrasing that? Yeah, totally, and I acknowledge that, but that was the logic I was going through, you know?
It also just that doesn't follow through at all.
I can...
Because, for example, having CP, even drawn CP, mind you, is still, like what he said, a celebration in a sense, and an endorsement of the exploitation of children. Chocolate doesn't exist because of slavery. Slavery is a up component in that production right now that can be changed, mind you. I don't agree with this argument.
I can fully understand that logic. I obviously, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Miles Chung, so I probably should have assumed that he was being dishonest, like he seems to be most of the time. I mean, I disagree with you on a hell of a lot of other stuff, but that's regardless.
Oh yeah, sure,
Like,
sure, yeah.
I'm,
No, no,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah, we can talk about that. The pedo thing, that clip always really frustrated me though, because I recognize I phrased my arguments terribly in that actual discussion. I know that I'm a public figure. I should know how this works. The thing that really frustrated me is I was like, I'm comparing child porn to like global economic exploitation. And because of that, some people assumed I was pro-child porn, when as a lefty, it seems like the obvious position would be to assume that I hate global commodity exploitation. So, like, you'd think there would be like you'd think they'd assume I was applying that same criticism over, but I don't know. I don't think that we can just, like, make buying cocoa butter right now illegal. That seems like a really dumb way of addressing it. I think it's just more a matter of, like, critically examining
Yeah,
the
these
way
things
our
are not
commodities
comparable.
Because some of that shit basically kind of requires slavery.
No, it doesn't.
So just so I can clarify something, would you agree? I agree that it's dumb to make buying cocoa butter illegal. Would you agree that with certain things that there's more of a direct line, that it is more reasonable to make buying that product immediately?
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Like
so
with
like
animal
buying
products,
child
for
porn should be
example.
illegal.
Oh yeah, because we won with child porn. We won that battle. We recognize it's not just hurting the child that's bad. It's even participating in the industry around hurting that child that's bad. We won that battle. I just want to win that battle with some other stuff. It can't be immediate. We can't just, because right now,
Yeah, I feel like it's so clear to me. Vaush admitted that this argument was dumb. How many arguments and videos are on the channel that everybody keeps telling me to look at that then are... Vaush actually already said this argument's also dumb. He doesn't seem too proud of the argument he made in his early days. This is what people were telling me to watch. I feel like Hunter's being intentionally obtuse here. Okay. I'm going to just ignore you. We'll go back to the DMs now that we've watched this. This is what the one everybody told me to watch. He just said it wasn't great optically. Are you talking about his original argument he made in the vegan gains one? Sure. He obviously doesn't feel proud of that one. But are you saying the argument right now that we just watched him explain? His explanation I disagree with. How are you people not understanding this? People are drawing way more conclusions from what I'm saying than they should be. I told you already that I'm going to be more just kind of analyzing this and going over it. I'm not going to be just bashing one side or the other.
You talk shit, you say horrible things about people. Now all of a sudden you're gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna bait you because you know, I'm above all this. No, you're not. You're not. Apparently, it's cut off. Apparently, though, I don't see this myself. You condescended me for thinking we were on good terms. Again, he didn't watch it. He makes that very clear. I did not watch any of it, which it makes me wonder, curious, how can he be so sure everything's in bad faith? For example, his characterization of this.
Yeah, which isn't, see, like that right there. This, if you want to be charitable to H3, as we have been charitable to Vaush throughout this, then you can also see how, isn't that bad faith a little bit? To just listen to what audience members are saying about a video criticizing the person that they like, and then you're using their analysis to determine that the video is bad faith? Isn't that kind of bad faith, or at least disingenuous or dishonest? I mean, there is also criticism there as well.
Is completely inaccurate. He says, you condescended to me for thinking we were on good terms. You can't blame me for that misconception. All of our previous interactions were pretty positive. I didn't condescend him. In the video, he goes, oh yeah, Ethan reacted like this. Like I would ever be friends with that pedo. It's absolutely not in any way. I said, I was surprised that you thought that we were friends. He said, I mean, that's all. So we spoke briefly twice in DM as far as I can recall. Maybe I'm misremembering. Again, I'm trying to be charitable, but that's all we talked. Look, I don't blame anyone for being suspicious of me. There are a lot of people out there who hate me, and I also have a tendency to put my foot in my mouth. I definitely don't. He put in other things. I'm not going to go there. I definitely don't make things easy for people who want to defend me. I didn't condescend you. I just expressed surprise at the sentiment. I said, you're a smart guy, talented speaker, funny, and I'm a fan of your content. I said that several times. Did I say that several times?
Yes.
Thank you. He says, but right now, as poisoned wells and bad face smears go, your show is actually... What? The well is poisoned. You didn't watch it?
Fallacy.
You
A fallacy
did.
right now.
You didn't watch it. You didn't watch it. You got to go to that well, and you will find it is purified, gorgeous, Martin-approved spring water.
Martin would definitely drink from this well.
It's got the minerals per. It's got all kinds of good
what's the
parts per. Yeah, it's bomb. He says it's an effort at character assassination that any weirdo Nazi or Keemstar type has been in the past. Again, another typical execution of this excuse that, like, oh, well, Nazis and Keemstar said it, so clearly anyone else who shares this opinion is a Nazi or a Keemstar. We are so far from good faith to expect that. Thank you, Keem. So differently when I go on would be ridiculous. I literally have no clue how you can call it bad faith. That's why I think there's a conflict to be had. I'm being totally honest here. You know what I mean? We tried to look at the full concept of everything and give thoughtful responses. I don't.
Ethan is wrong. Vaush knows the clips and doesn't have to see a stream to know its content. Did everything Ethan say in the video that we saw, was that really bad faith? Some of it was like unfair conclusions, but Vaush could literally have cleared that up on the stream.
Oh, yeah, I don't dwell in the same internet space as you, so perhaps I'm missing or misunderstanding something. Ethan, if you were a fan of my content or whatever, don't you think the appropriate time to get my perspective on this would have been sometime before the surprise 2-hour mega...
It's probably in the next...
Yeah, here. Mega segment where you react to everything people who hate me have ever compiled to try to smear me. Don't you think your order of events is a little off? There's new info, though.
Yeah, like, I do also agree that Ethan calling Vaush's fans all lolicons and stuff is pretty cringe. That's definitely disingenuous. He could have done better there.
Not like that.
No.
It's not like you're close friends and you're going to be like, hey, what's going on?
And also, we didn't just show
No.
the compilation that was going around on Twitter. We found the actual links to the original streams and shared those.
That's what really... When I
Yeah.
saw that, I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Everyone here spent a lot of time hunting down every single clip, original, like VODs. What? We didn't just... So frustrating.
And before the show, I'm like, am I missing something? Because this is just making it worse. I asked Dan if he could check the most recent ones I found, because I'm like, am I just stupid? Like, this seems worse. And
It's all so bad. He continues, and you've attacked my community and other streamers. Oh, gasp. You've attacked my community. Now all of a sudden,
Streamers? You're
Vaush
coming
is
for
this-
streamers?
Exactly. He's this principled gentleman. Nobody attacks my community and then asks to debate me. Lollipops. Nobody calls us a lollipop. Now come, children. Gather around me.
Stroking as hard and fast as we can.
I'm only sensing a desire for more content and environment which has been constructed to deny me the ability to be taken seriously. I mean, okay. Not sure how me saying I've enjoyed some of your videos suggests I owe you anything like that. He goes, even your language here is dishonest. It's not a matter of owing me anything. If you cared about my opinion on any of this, you would have sought it before doing a big surprise character assassination. That's just not how I would characterize that at all. I understand where you're coming from. Personally, I think
That's
it would be a
also,
good
I'm
combo. because
sorry,
I
but kind of silly anytime someone's like, why didn't you come to me first? Unless you're like literally like good friends who are like hanging out all the time. You really shouldn't expect to have that. Like, that just doesn't happen. What?
promise you, I don't understand what was bad faith about my criticism, but I'm absolutely open to hearing you out. Do I think he's going to convince me? No, but I'll hear him because I've already heard everything he has to say. Obviously, the stuff we talked about is pretty heavy. I think you should have an opportunity to respond to our audience and give additional context, but it's up to you. Obviously, I understand either way.
So Vaush
You
should
didn't
totally
care
do
about my
that.
opinion then, nor do you now, but your numbers were good during the segment. No, again, they were average. You're not even acting like you believed the things you said.
What?
If you actually cared about the gravity of your accusations against me, you wouldn't be pussyfooting around with this language. You'd be condemning me. Remember he said that.
I don't understand.
Remember he said that.
He wants to come have a conversation, and you're showing him that this could be a polite,
Give him
civil
space.
conversation. What does he want?
So to prove that I genuinely believe what I'm saying, I need to be condemning him. I was just speechless. I just said, what?
I don't even
Your
know. what-
tone doesn't match the claim. I don't know whether or not you believe you lied, but unfortunately, it seems I've always had a bad read on your thoughts and feelings. Nothing new is under the sun. Well, the horse stuff and the Loli is. This has all been discussed on my channel openly. I welcome scrutiny, and I'm already hurt by these lies. I won't let you benefit from dishonesty twice. If you'd like to come on and talk about it, you may do so on my stream. I don't expect you to accept. I was like, I accept. I don't expect you to accept, and that's totally okay. I'm not entitled to your time or good faith. I accept. Oh, shit. All right. Well, hold on. Oh, I just saw your... Hold on. I just saw your stories. And that now I realize you're actually a meanie, so I rescind. Dork. I said, what's the difference between your...
I mean, I do think that, yeah, like I can understand the disconnect here between like some of the stuff they're saying and Ethan being sort of like sarcastic in his tone. However, that's kind of how Ethan is. That's always how he communicates stuff. Considering how his usual demeanor is, I felt like the stream in which they were discussing some of the Vaush shit, they were treating it pretty seriously. But yeah, and I will also give the Vaush side props that the IG stories I heard were pretty unhinged, and I saw them as well. I don't want to just go based on what people are saying again. But yeah, no, based on what I saw there, they were kind of unhinged with accusing Vaush and all of his followers of being like a pedophile or pedo supporters or something along the lines. I don't know how you can say that H3 isn't drama farming here. He got you, every Vaush fan, anyone interesting in this drama to watch their videos. That's not drama farming. That's how drama unfolds. Drama organically occurring because of some yikesy shit that Vaush had on his computer. That's not drama farming. Chat, you guys are exhausting. There you guys have it. That is the Vaush controversy thus far. Certainly some disappointing stuff on all sides. Of course, we will be going over Vaush's response whenever it is released. So stay off your high horses, everybody.